Hey mamas, I'm Brooke Miller, registered dietitian, certified lactation counselor, and a mama who has helped hundreds of moms feel like themselves again after baby, boost their energy, mood, metabolism, and even milk supply. Inside of the Postpartum Shift podcast, you'll learn how to take care of your health so that you can show up best for the ones you care about most. Each week, we'll tackle topics like nutrition, exercise, breastfeeding, mental health, and so much more. Plus, you'll get access to guest experts who will share ways to make your pregnancy and postpartum experience easier. Whether you're approaching the postpartum period or you're right in the thick of it, you're in the right place. Let's dive into today's topic. Let's be real. Meal planning while you are postpartum can feel impossible because we are running on broken sleep. Our baby's sleep schedule is all over the place. If you also have toddlers or older kids, they're adjusting to a new baby. Your relationship is adjusting to a new baby. And just the thought of cooking a full meal from start to finish can feel overwhelming. And so if you are in that season of life right now, I want you to know that meal planning does not need to be rigid, complicated, time consuming. You can actually make your life easier instead of adding to your stress when it comes to fueling your body postpartum. So this is what we're going to be covering today in this short episode. So meal planning feels impossible in the season of life, again, because we are trying to adjust to a new baby and their schedule, and every baby is so unique. You may find that maybe meal planning was easier, during your last postpartum experience, and it's a lot harder this time. You may have a baby that does not want to be put down, and so we may have to really utilize a carrier, and wearing them more frequently. Every day is different with a newborn. Sometimes they take a really long nap, and sometimes, their nap is super short. And so traditional meal planning can feel very all or nothing. And I just want you to know that it does not have to be a full-on meal prep Sunday unless you want to do that. If that is working for you postpartum, continue doing that. But especially in the first few months postpartum, you may find that is not really sustainable unless you have outside help coming to help you with your baby, or your spouse or significant other or parent or somebody else can help you with the baby. So we don't have to plan every meal. I think a lot of people are under the impression, especially me, I'm a dietitian, that I have every single meal for the week planned out in advance. And the truth is I don't. Something that works really well for our family is we pick about 3 to 4 meals a week, and then we make large amounts of it, and we eat so many leftovers. So if you look at what I eat in a week, you'll be like, oh my gosh, is she eating the same breakfast, the same lunch, and the same dinner for 3 or 4 days in a row? And the answer is yeah, probably, because I don't like being in the kitchen. I want to avoid being in the kitchen as much as possible. And so for me, I find it way easier. I actually just batched. This wasn't this past Sunday, the Sunday before, I batched a ton of breakfast burritos. So I actually got these high protein tortillas from Costco. They're the Be Free brand. So they're high protein, they're gluten-free. I have celiac disease. And I basically just threw in eggs with cheese and sausage and potatoes into the oven and cooked it. And then I just filled the burritos with that. Oh, and I put in peppers and onions too, because I love peppers and onions. So it was just peppers, onions, potatoes, eggs, cheese, some milk. And then, and sausage. And then, threw it in the oven, and then I made breakfast burritos, and that was my entire breakfast all of last week. So I ate the exact same breakfast every single day last week, put some hot sauce on it for extra flavor, and paired it with some berries, and that was my breakfast. And then there's a lot of times where I will make an egg bake, which I also love making on the weekends. And then that is just my breakfast every day for that week. And then, my typical breakfast, if I am not planning too far in advance, is just making some scrambled eggs first thing in the morning, because it's relatively pretty quick and easy. So I want you to know that you don't have to plan every single meal. You don't have to cook everything from scratch. You don't have to spend hours in the kitchen. Something that we rely so heavily on for meal planning is things like frozen vegetables that you can just microwave to roast, or frozen vegetables that you can just throw in the air fryer to roast, like things like that, just shortcuts that are already, maybe it's vegetables or fruit that's frozen and pre-cut. It just makes your life easier. You can just throw it on the stovetop and cook it rather than having to chop up every single vegetable. If you've been wanting to reach your healthiest weight and feel like yourself again postpartum without having to sacrifice your favorite foods or your milk supply, I've got a free workshop just for you. Inside of this free workshop, you'll discover how to boost energy, mood, metabolism, and even protect your milk supply. You'll learn common mistakes that moms make that actually cause exhaustion, mood swings, low milk supply, and weight loss resistance to become worse, things that moms don't even realize. And you'll learn the proven 3-step method to heal your hormones and metabolism after baby so you can go from surviving to thriving postpartum. Plus, as a free gift, you'll get my postpartum snack guide when you come hang out with us. All you have to do is click the link in the show notes to save your seat today. Spots are limited. See you there. Something else that I love for meal prepping and just saving time is we have a vegetable cutter. It is really, really sharp. So I will preface this. I can link it in the show notes. But it's one of my favorite veggie choppers and it works so well. But again, it is really, really sharp. My husband has cut his hand on it twice and he's also on blood thinners. So he's like, I can't cut myself on this thing. I'm going to bleed out. So he hates using it, but I love it because it is, but you want to keep the kids away from it because it's really sharp. But that veggie chopper, I can chop up an onion and a pepper in like less than 2 minutes. So that is always having just tools like that in your kitchen just can make meal planning and meal prepping so much easier. So some things that I wanted to leave you with this episode is talking about the mindset shift of done is better than perfect. We do not have to plan out every single thing perfectly in advance. We don't have to make every single thing from scratch. It's just about making this season of life a little bit easier with nourishing your body. So we want to start small. Something that moms tend to find easiest is picking one meal, focusing on that meal first. So I actually recommend if you're going to be doing this and your breakfast is not consistent, I recommend you start there because if you can get your breakfast really consistent with planning ahead, having a high protein, really well balanced breakfast first thing in the morning, it's going to set you up to feel so much better throughout the day. And so, like I said, I love the breakfast burrito idea. I love an egg bake, or just you can make little like egg muffin quiches, like little things like that. There's so many different options. Overnight oats, you can add some protein powder to it to make it a little higher protein. There's so many good options for breakfast, and I will drop my breakfast guide in the show notes below. So if you are really like, this is where I need to start is with breakfast, I have like over 40 recipes that you can take. So I will drop that breakfast guide below. I will drop the link to my little veggie chopper below that I love and use. So it'll make your life a little bit easier with that. But breakfast is definitely the meal that I would recommend starting with. And then once breakfast is really consistent, then again, pick 3 to 4 meals for that week. Make sure that you look at how much the recipe serves because you may want to double or triple the recipe to make sure, especially depending on how many kids you have, how old your kids are, how many, how big of an eater maybe your spouse is. You want to make sure that it will last you at least 2 to 3 meals each person. And sometimes for me, it's like, if this can last me 4 to 5 meals, I'm okay eating the same thing 5 days in a row. Something else that can be really helpful is to just batch the key ingredients that you might use for lots of meals. So for us, we use pepper and onion for a ton of stuff. I love making veggie omelets. So I love pepper and onion inside of my eggs or omelets. And then I also love pepper and onion anytime that we're cooking anything like pasta. So we use pepper and onion for a lot of different dishes in our house. And so that is something that you can look at, things like pepper or onion or fruits or vegetables, things that you might be using for multiple meals. Can you just prep those foods just one day a week whenever it is a little bit more convenient for you? It might be things like quinoa or rice. Like we have a rice cooker that's really great. So sometimes if we will look at 2 different types of meals that we want to make that week that include rice, but one might be beef, one might be a chicken based, it might have different types of vegetables, and kind of go from there. And then just having a backup plan for the chaos that happens, like whether you have sick kids or whether you're just like, it is a day, soccer went late for my older kid and now I'm home and I don't have time to make things. I am a huge, huge fan of having just emergency staple items on hand where when you don't feel like cooking or you don't have time to go to the grocery store, you can quickly and easily throw together something really, really consistent and simple. So things that we always have on hand at our house for instance, our chicken sausage. You can literally microwave it in 1 minute and it's a quick protein source. We always have Greek yogurt. That's a really great snack option, but you can also make it a breakfast if you throw on some nuts and seeds and, you can throw in some fruit. You can make something like that well balanced. We always have eggs on hand. So sometimes when we don't feel like making dinner, we'll just do scrambled eggs and like avocado toast or something for dinner. So we do breakfast for dinner actually pretty frequently because we always have eggs on hand. Having smoothie ingredients, we always have smoothie ingredients on hand at my house. So we always have some sort of frozen vegetables and fruit in our freezer. And then there are some good frozen meal brands that you can throw in the air fryer or the microwave for just like one of those oh shoot meals. One of the brands that I really like is called Kevin's. Kevin's, he makes like different types of chicken and beef and those types of things. And I love it because you can just throw it on the stovetop and it's ready in 3 minutes. And whenever I make any of his meat dishes, it usually feeds my husband and I for one meal. So the portion sizes are not huge. It's like enough for two adult size portions. And then we always have like microwavable quinoa and rice on hand. So sometimes that's just a quick and easy meal. It's just, we'll throw that on the stovetop. It takes 5 minutes and then we'll pair with rice or quinoa. We always have salad kits on hand in our house too, and fresh berries. So those are always quick and easy side dishes. So I'm also going to link below my no prep nutrition guide. It's absolutely free. And in there are some of my favorite staple items for your pantry, for your freezer, just so you have some things on hand that you can easily mix and match and throw together for a quick and easy meal. So lots of awesome downloads in the show notes if you want to click below. And I just want to leave you with the fact that you do not have to eat perfect. You do not have to plan or prep every single meal perfectly. It's okay to just take some things in your pantry or freezer and kind of throw it together. Make sure you always have things like frozen fruits and vegetables on hand in your freezer and just some of those, emergency staple items in your pantry, just so you always have an option ready to go. So I hope that this episode was helpful and I will see you next week. Exercise is crucial for our overall mental and physical health, especially during pregnancy and postpartum. Something that has helped me stay really consistent with strength training and yoga at home during nap time is the Expecting and Empowered workout app. I love that I can choose how many weeks pregnant or postpartum I am, and the app tells me exactly what to do. Plus, there's cardio, yoga, and strength training options for new moms and moms to be. You can go ahead and click the link in the show notes to get 7 days free and also save 15% off the annual option when you use promo code Nutrition for Mamas. Thank you so much for hanging out with me and listening to the Postpartum Shift podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, it would mean the world to me if you could share this episode with a mom friend and leave a written review. This helps the podcast reach and help even more moms. Come say hi over on Instagram at Nutrition for Mamas.